Hello, wrestling fans, and welcome to the latest episode of the We Can't Wrestle podcast. The brothers Max and here with you, of course. I'm Nate. That's Aaron.
Hello.
And we are
Hola.
embarking on another journey through a PWI 500 this week. We love these episodes because first, no preparation. I just open up the magazine. I open up the magazine, take a look, and we just start reading. We go for about 90 minutes as far as we get. And the other fun part is at the first part of the of the 500 is always the fun gimmicks, the indie guys you forgot about, whatever. And then as you get into the top maybe 200, then you can have some more discussions about those guys' careers during that calendar year and why they were ranked where they were ranked, like a Bret Hart or a Hulk Hogan or what have you. But yeah, so we like doing these. This is fun.
Yes. And I don't know if you said what year we're doing yet or not, but
yeah, we are doing 1995.
yes, what I've always called the forgotten year of wrestling, because the WWE owns everything now, and they did not have they don't like to talk about 1995 very much.
Right.
It's usually Brett, Sean, Kevin, and other than that, and Scott. Other than that, there's not a lot of discussion about it, and they don't really talk about them. How do I say, like, they don't talk about like the angles or whatever going into, you know what I mean? Is what I'm saying, making sense.
You don't see footage of a lot of Monday Night Raw from 1995. You might see the footage from Survivor Series of Brett versus Diesel, or you might see the footage from SummerSlam of Shawn versus Razor in the ladder match or something like that. But yeah, you're not going to see. I mean, they don't even really ever, even though it was a big sports thing, they don't ever really bring up Lawrence Taylor very much.
Because it was a crummy attended. It was in the fucking Hartford Civic Center.
Yeah.
And it's just they don't like to talk about it. And the sad part about it too is that the ratings were bad or whatever, and some of the gimmicks were silly and whatever, but there's good action in it.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean.
You got matches like Bret Hart versus Hakushi.
Yeah.
Like I said, the aforementioned second ladder match at the SummerSlam in '95.
And it was stupid that it was over a jacket, but Brett and Jean-Pierre Lafitte had good matches.
Yeah.
It's just, and like
Yeah,
I said, they don't, and they. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I guess just because it was during my peak years of fandom, I actually look back on '95 kind of fondly, to be honest.
I do too. It's this might sound weird too, but it's kind of a like 95 through 97 is kind of like a 2-year span for wrestling fans. You know what I mean? Like we didn't have to share it with the looky loos and it's cool right now, so we're gonna watch it. You know what I mean? The flyby fans or whatever.
Yeah. From the end of Hogan and the WWF until the NWO. That's that. If you were watching then, you were a wrestling fan.
Yeah. That would make me mad because, like, in school, people like, "Oh, you like wrestling?" There'd be like 10 of us that liked it, you know.
Yeah, and then 5 years later,
they've all people like, "Yeah,
Stone Cold Steve Austin."
Yeah, fuck off.
DX. I'm out here like crazy cowboy Jeff Jarrett singing country music.
Yeah, like fuck off. I went through Freddie Joe Floyd, the Shockmaster, you piece of shit.
You know how many times I listened to With My Baby Tonight?
I know all the words.
They played that motherfucker on every show. All right. We'll start off here, the 1995 PWI 500. Of course, we're going to start with 500. Got a picture of him here. He looks like a district manager.
All right.
Number 500 is Kevin Kirby. He even sounds like a district manager.
Big fat guy?
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember
5'11",
his picture.
5'11", 290. You know, he looks like the happy kind of like the laid back district manager, like the guy where you're like, oh,
Yeah.
Kevin's going to be here. I like it when Kevin visits.
Yeah.
This fan favorite has
bring snacks.
Yeah. This fan favorite has competed in the NAWA, IWA, CCW, and all over the Carolina independent scene. Has respectable technical skills, but can also brawl. Was trained by former NWA wrestler Mike Somani. So Kevin Kirby, number 500. I don't know anything about him other than seeing him in the magazines. I don't know if I've ever even seen him wrestle. So
Nope.
number
I don't even know
490.
the guy that trained him.
Now, number 499 is a guy that we've seen plenty of, and we've talked about plenty of on the Reliving the Extreme podcast. It's Don E. Allen, 5'10",
All right.
185, 7 years pro. Last year's number 500 improved slightly in the last 12 months. The Devious One wrestled sporadically in ECW, but did not fare much better than last year.
I mean, he's that guy. He's one of those guys you were talking about on last week's show. Of you get him out there in the first 1 or 2 matches to have your big baby face come out and beat the shit out of a bunch of guys. He was just a utility worker.
Mm-hmm.
Did his job.
Got fed to 911 a lot in ECW.
Yep.
Did Donnie?
And after that, it was Sandman or Taz, whoever. And like I said, he's like a good hand. I don't know what else to say. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now they have a picture of him in here too, and the caption's kind of funny. It says, "The Devious One has had a startling rise to mediocrity." I just find that amusing. Number 498, Sebastian Kane, 6'5", 314, 4 years pro. Myrtle Beach, South Carolina native, is currently competing in the AIWF, has held the AIWF heavyweight title twice. He and Dangerous Don Carson are now the top contenders to the AIWF tag team title. I don't know Sebastian Kane.
I don't know him either.
Number 497. You ever notice in the PWI 500 they'll have like four to five independent promotions that for some reason that year a lot of their people make the cut?
Yeah.
It's like the writers
right.
took a liking to some indie feds, so that's the ones they're keeping up with on PWI.
That's probably like the one that was close to home or whatever.
Because this other one's an AIWF guy too. Robert Roma, 5'11", 202 years pro. The current AIWF U.S. champ. He has held the belt on 2 other occasions in his brief career. Native of Long Island, New York. Had an impressive repertoire of moves and holds. Don't know who he is either.
Don't know either.
Number 496, Playboy Johnny Lee. 6 foot 250, 5 years pro. Wrestles in Pro Wrestling International. When he isn't teaming with Dice Man Ronnie Vegas, I do know that name, in the Midwest Independents, he is usually serving as his manager. It's another one of those guys that comes out to pour some sugar on me, probably.
Yeah. Got kind of a gut, but thinks he's sexy.
Where's a fedora?
With a boa and whatever.
Yes.
Yeah. Come on.
And then
God bless him, though. You know what I mean? I'm not making fun of it. I'm making fun of it, but I'm not making fun of it.
As the show's going on, you're watching the action in the ring, and you look back, and this guy, Playboy Johnny Lee, who 2 matches ago came out healing up to the crowd, is back at the stand eating a hot dog, and he's just there. All right, number 495 is Matt Beltster, 5'9", 152. 1 year pro. Youngster is wise beyond his years. Extremely quick study. Is always full of surprises. 1994 Rookie of the Year in PCW. Native of Reading, Pennsylvania.
I don't know him either.
He was 1 year pro here. I don't think he made it much farther because don't ever remember seeing this guy. Number 494, one of those names I know from the magazines at least. 5'11", it's Rich Myers, 5'11", 215, 3 years pro, known as Ramblin' Rich in the East Coast Independents, currently feuding with former tag team partner Jimmy Giannetti. gaining much needed experience and making improvement. Frequently wrestles at WWF TV tapings, but hasn't had much success. Maybe that's where I recognize his name. Maybe he was a jobber on WWF TV. Rich Myers.
I'm sure he probably was. And Ramblin' Man obviously was his theme probably when he came out.
And I'm sure he had a mullet.
Yeah.
No way he didn't have a mullet. Number 493 is the Mongolian Mauler. 6'2", 303, 11 years pro. Protege of Abdullah the Butcher, is highly reminiscent of him in style. Black-Eyed Madman is a pure brawler and one of the strangest looking wrestlers in the world, often competes in Europe. Hopefully he didn't get hepatitis.
But that is true about the guy, and I don't know why he never did anything else. Like he was in Smoky Mountain for like a cup of coffee, but he did have like a unique, crazy look. He wasn't any good. I mean, that part might be part of it, but like, with the black eyes, that was like cool. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know why he never did anything other than I don't know. Maybe being associated with Abby wasn't the best thing in the world either. Should have something to do with it.
Yeah, and I think I know you say he did Smoky Mountain. Did he do anything in WCW, or am I wrong?
Like I think he did like one run in.
Okay. Because for some reason I remember him being on a, let me see. I'm gonna look him up just real quick, just because
I think he attacked somebody and then we never saw him again.
Mahler had a brief stint in Smoky Mountain in 92. In 1994, he worked for World Championship Wrestling, being managed by Colonel Robert Parker. Mahler teamed up a couple of times with Steve Austin, lost to Brian Pillman, Dustin Rhodes, and Sting. He retired later that year. I'm sure none of that was televised, but because I don't remember seeing it.
If it was on like a Worldwide or WCW Pro.
Okay, let's see.
It was probably just because he sucked.
They took a look at him and decided to say nope.
Yeah, he got that one. You got that. It's like you're a one and done guy.
Yeah. Hurricane Lewis is 492, 6'2", 353 years pro, has taken the Kentucky-based Universal Wrestling Federation by storm. A top contender to the UWF title. Favorite move is called the Twister. If you're the Hurricane...
Why are you a tornado?
That's exactly what I was going to say. Why not the Eye of the Storm or something?
Yeah.
I can help you, Hurricane Lewis. 30 years later. Number 491. Here he is.
How do you hit him with your hurricane? Or something, not the Twister. God damn it. Go ahead, sorry.
Number 491 is Tracy Austin, 6'2", 239, 2 years pro. One half of the Lone Star Wrestling Tag Team Champions, tall blonde youngster, also frequently competes in Texas Independence. Doesn't play tennis. I don't get that joke, probably because I don't watch tennis, and I don't know who. But anyway, I don't know who this is anyway. So
you say Tracy Austin?
Tracy Austin.
I don't know. Must be some female tennis player or something named Tracy Austin. Fucking idea.
Number 490 is Jim Pope, 6 foot 225, 4 years pro, rising star in the Pacific Northwest Independence. Gresham, Oregon native, is deceptively strong for his small stature. Favorite move is the suplex from the top rope.
All right. Well, I just say superplex, but that's okay. Unless they got to fit enough words into the blurb or whatever.
His name's Jim Pope. Like, we're making the Vatican bad again. Yeah. I had to throw something in there because I don't know who this fucking guy is.
Yeah. No idea.
Number 489 is Brian Michaels. Lots of Michaels in the 90s in wrestling. 6'1", 201.
Sean.
Yeah, six years pro. Formerly known as Johnny Castle, this Winston-Salem, North Carolina native is currently wrestling in the IWA. Wrestles mostly singles. and has held the IWA US and Mid-Atlantic titles, feuding with the Terminator. No-nonsense brawler is hated by the fans.
Yeah, it's like you said, a lot of Michaels. It's like, well, Shawn Michaels was a big star.
Yeah. Just like there's
and I mean, oh, go ahead, sorry.
I was just going to say, just like, there's a few Genettis, they just take the name and they don't ever say that they're that person's brother or anything, but wrestling fans say it. So they just don't say it.
That's some guy, that's Martin Jannetty's brother up there.
Yeah.
You know
He
that?
doesn't say he is, but he doesn't correct them either.
Yeah. We're on the poster, Jimmy's in really small letters and Jannetty's big.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I'll say it a lot. God bless him.
Yep. It's Carney,
make
man.
that money.
It's the wrestling business.
Yeah. And that's the great thing about it too. Like mainstream wise, you can say, oh, wrestling's changed so much. But even now when you get down into that bottom whatever, it's still the same business.
Mm-hmm.
The guys might act different a little bit, but the nuts and bolts of it's still the same business.
Yep. It's still Carney, smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
Popcorn and hot dogs. having your wrestlers, they might not get paid, but they still have to help set up the ring. But it's an opportunity, buddy. It's an opportunity. Number 488 is Major Havoc, 6'2", 278, 1 years pro. This Kentucky native is currently competing in the AIWF in North Carolina. He has already held the AIWF US title once and is currently the number one contender to that championship. That's all I got on Major Havoc. I wish he had a funny finishing maneuver or something that we could make fun of.
Well, I mean, there's no picture of him?
No.
I'm just wondering if he's a masked guy. Well, I guess they'd say it if he was masked. He looks at this masked maniac or whatever. So yeah.
He looks at Kevin Kirby and he's like, bleep, bleep, bleep. What are you laughing at, fat boy? You found a piece of candy in your pocket?
Candy in your pocket. But I guarantee you ain't ever going to beat Bam Bam Bigelow.
487 is Stephen Debs. I think Debbes. Debs. 5'10", 219, 7 years pro. Has competed in Africa, Japan, Puerto Rico, and Russia. Another high flyer in the mold of Jushin Liger. I don't think we can compare this guy to Jushin Liger. And held the South African Junior Heavyweight Championship, nicknamed the Tornado. His finishing maneuver should be the Twister.
It's probably the Eye of the Storm.
Or the Pay Your Debs.
Yeah. It's a horrible name.
And like Arn Anderson would say, I don't know you. So
I don't know you.
We're going to move on. 486 is Tommy Calavera Cortez. 6 foot, 207, 1 year pro, one half of the Street Smart tag team Los Rudos, along with Rico Rodriguez. Los Rudos are currently the BCW tag team champions. Also competes in Midwest Territorial Wrestling. I don't know him, but I like that name. Tommy Calavera Cortez.
Yeah. It's something that he can say on the mic himself, Space it out a little bit.
Kind of like Armando.
Alejandro Estrada. He just signed a Legends deal.
Good. I like him. I like Armando.
Yeah. So you might see him come making a couple more appearances.
My Samoan Boto, sir. He's going to be... We heard this guy is the toughest hombre in all of Texas.
Texas.
That dude was fucking entertaining.
Yeah, I don't know why they got rid of him.
During a time where a lot of wrestling in general wasn't terribly entertaining, that guy was fucking entertaining.
Him and Umaga were great together. Like I said, I don't know why that guy got gotten rid of, but
it's because, well, what they did, first of all, they took him out of what he should have been doing. Like, they never should have moved into like being a general manager and shit. He should have just stayed like a actual manager. Like once they moved him into being like the general manager of ECW or whatever the fuck. And I know they did like back then they did that shit like changing your underwear. They changed around the GMs and anybody could become a fucking GM or whatever. But they should have never taken him out of the role that he was in, you know?
Yeah.
Because he was really good at it.
Yeah, I was just like trying to think like if there was like one instance, but I can't remember what it was. Like there's a couple guys that were in that type of role that they got. Like I can remember the reason for their release.
Mm-hmm.
Like that Abraham Washington guy. Remember him?
Oh, was he the guy that was with was he the guy that was with Titus and Darren Young?
Yeah, and then he had the Abraham Washington show and he had Tony
Yeah.
Atlas with
Yeah,
him. And
yeah.
Tony
Yeah.
do the
Yeah.
behind him or whatever. Yeah, I remember why that. Do you remember why that guy got released?
Uh-uh.
Yeah, remember?
I don't.
Well, because you remember when he was with Young and Titus, he'd have like the headset and he'd like talk during the match.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, he said that they were as unstoppable. They were more unstoppable than Kobe Bryant in a Minnesota hotel room. And it was like 3 months after or whatever that it happened. So they were like, you're fired." He just made a rape joke. And then
So
that
he
Brad
would,
Maddox. Oh, God, sorry.
I know the whole Brad Maddox thing.
Yeah, it's because he called everybody pricks, and Vince fired him. He's like, I didn't even know prick was a bad word. How old he actually said that about Vince. Like, I didn't even know prick was a bad word anymore. How old is Vince? Like, anyway.
Let's see here. Back to 1995. Number 485 is Death Row number 3260. 6'3", 280, 6 years pro. Occasionally wrestles in ECW, mainly wrestles in the Florida Independents, managed by the Warden, wears illegal steel-toed boots to the ring. I know we talked about him, I think, the last time we did one of these.
Death Row 3260?
Yes.
All right.
I think we determined he wasn't anybody that any of us actually knew who he was. Number 484 is Adam Flash, 5'9", 210, 3 years pro. Resembles the Kid in both looks and style, though he is not nearly as polished. Wrestles throughout Pennsylvania and Maryland independents. Lack of size puts him in a disadvantage against larger opponents. He and partner Quinn Nash rely on quick tag, speed, and agility. I think we're going to see a lot of these type of guys in this year's 500 too. Because, you know, you got Michaels, you got Genettis, and you're going to have guys that are like the 1, 2, 3 kid on the indie scene.
Yeah, because they're starting to finally get time to, like, that's starting to be acceptable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Instead of the 1, 2, 3 kid, they got Petey Pinfall. Number 483 is Sean Casey, 5'9", 223, 6 years pro. His speed, agility, and aerial moves make him popular with female fans. Competes throughout the Midwest from MTW to the USWA. Cincinnati native, now bills himself from Hollywood.
I remember him.
Sean Casey, I'm trying to place him. I don't know. I know the name, but I don't know. I'd probably have to see him to know, to be like, oh yeah, that's him. 482, Ronnie Vegas. Dice Man is the current all-pro heavyweight champion, sometimes relies on interference of his manager, Playboy Johnny Lee, to score victories. Native of Las Vegas, is no gambler. Dice Man Ronnie Vegas, another one of those guys that I, as a kid, knew of from the magazines because he was always big in the indies. Don't think he ever put his head up out of the water into the big two, but
I remember. I'm sure I'd remember that name if I had seen it on like a Worldwide or a Saturday Night or whatever. But I don't remember that guy.
Number 481 is Cousin Bubba, 6'2", 386, 10 years pro. Big lovable man from Fairmont, Indiana. What? Is currently feuding with Ronnie Vegas, Bobby Colt, and the Bounty Hunter in All Pro Wrestling. Hillbilly is hugely popular in the Midwest.
All right. Like
Cousin
Ronnie
Bubba.
Vegas has this little side hustle going over in this other territory. He shows up all banged up and fucking what's his manager guy's name?
Playboy Johnny Lee.
Yeah, Playboy Johnny Lee's like, "What's up, man? Got this match tonight. You look all banged up." Like fucking hillbilly over in
Indiana,
Indiana.
man.
Drop me on my head. It's like, God damn it.
Big
Told
motherfucker
you
named
stop fucking
Bubba.
around with those. Told you stop fucking around with that hillbilly.
I told you not to associate with Bobby Colt and the Bounty Hunter.
Yeah.
Get you nothing but trouble with hillbillies.
Billy's.
Got that retard strength.
Yeah. You got dozens of dollars on the line here.
Number 480, Boogie Woogie Brown. 6'1", 346, 6 years pro. People's champ of the ECWA, has held every belt in the federation. This happy-go-lucky guy is loved by fans of all ages. Very agile for his size and finishes many opponents with his big splash. I remember back then in '95 being like, this is before we could just watch whatever we wanted to on the internet, folks. But back then when we were kids, looking in the magazines and stuff, the ECWA always intrigued me. I wanted to be able to watch it, and I couldn't because we didn't get it anywhere around here.
Yeah.
But it'd be in the magazines, like the Super 8 tournament and all that stuff. And I was like, man, this ECWA seems cool. And then then I watch it on YouTube or whatever. Now, hindsight, I mean, it's fine.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff in the magazines that were like that or whatever, and they were a big,
Yeah,
toted independent. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Jim Kettner was the promoter.
Yeah,
they were a big deal for a long time on the East Coast for sure.
Well, I mean, it's like it's not the same thing, but it's like when they started OVW. You know what I mean? And when you see it on, or when you hear about it, or you read about it in the magazines, like you're like, oh man, this WWF fucking territory or whatever. And then when they started putting DVDs out of it or whatever, and then you finally get a DVD of it and you watch it and you're like, whoa, like you were expecting like the WWE developmental territory to have like WWE production values. You know what I mean? And you're like, and I mean, I'm not knocking it.
Right.
I'm just saying it's like, and it was still cool and everything, but you didn't think about it until like the first time, because in the magazines or whatever, all the pictures are glossy and it's action shots and everything, and then when you finally punch it in there, you're like, wow, it looks like they taped this on videotape, and there's 11, well, not even, I'm gonna say like 200 people there, but it's probably even less than that. So, yeah.
Number 479 is Chris Stevenson, 6'1", 273 years pro. This Durham, North Carolina native is one of SCW's most popular wrestlers. Former MAWA champion, is a top contender to the SCW championship, a powerful wrestler with a dangerous elbow drop, often compared to a young Dusty Rhodes. Had a brutal series of matches with Vladimir Koloff.
So he's built funny and had a perm. Is that what it was?
Sounds that way. That's the best comparison he can have to Dusty Rhodes.
Yeah.
Number 478. This guy better come out to the Pink Panther theme. It's Cat Burglar. 5'10", 220, 1 year pro. Wrestles while on furlough from the Maryland State Penitentiary. Appropriately enough, he was convicted on several counts of burglary. Very competitive and very sneaky light heavyweight. Not to be trusted.
So they let him out on furlough. And it's, at least he's trying.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I
I mean,
mean? Like he's trying to
he's
come up
not
with a
just
little backstory.
yeah, he's not just going out there or just under his real name or something. He's got a little gimmick going.
Yeah, good for him.
Obviously it didn't work out, but cat
Yeah, like
burglar.
I like that little twist. It's like, yeah, yeah. Like if you're such a criminal, why aren't you in prison? I'm on furlough. It's like, yeah, yeah, okay,
All
all
right.
right.
He thought this out.
I can dig it. I appreciate it.
He's like, but I'll tell you one thing, I am not to be trusted. I think it'd be great if he said it about himself.
Yeah, like I have a disease.
I am not to be
I'm
trusted.
I cannot be trusted. Like, don't leave your things around me.
Yeah, don't let me near your silverware drawer.
Yeah, it's almost your own fault.
Number 477 is Freight Train Freddy. 6'4",
Oh,
305, 2 years pro. Popular young wrestler is competing in several Florida independents. Held the IPWA Southeastern title last year. Continues to improve. That's all they got to say about Freight Train Freddy.
how much do you weigh?
305.
305. Happy go black, lucky black guy, you think? Or is he white? Doesn't matter, but I'm just trying to think.
Probably. Usually, yeah. I mean, usually the freight train gimmicks are black guys. Honestly,
I think he's a happy go lucky black guy.
had the um Ride the Train song come out by this time in '95.
Right, that was a conductor hat. Yeah, nah, I bet he comes. Maybe not. I was gonna say maybe he comes out to locomotion. That would. I don't know.
Well, number
I'm
476.
gonna overthink Freight Train Frankie or whatever his name was.
Number 476 is Steve Nixon. 5'10", 212, 4 years pro. Definitely one of the toughest young competitors in the Midwest territorial wrestling. Has been feuding with the tag team Los Rudos. Frequently teams with Sean Casey.
Right. That's their little tag team feud. I don't know anything about the guy.
Me neither. 475. Don't know this one either. Danny Britz. 6 foot 235, 12 years,
Name.
12 years pro. That seems to be a trend with the South African guys because this is a veteran wrestler that's competing quite a bit in South Africa. Won many championships as an amateur. Feuded with Tiger Jeet Singh. Has competed in WWC. Danny Britz.
I guess that's. I mean, it is another country, so they would have different names or not. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So maybe Danny's the regular name over there. I don't know, but they could see my name and be like, "What a fucking stupid name."
Number 474 is Brian Perry. 6 foot 235, 3 years pro. Currently holds the SCW tag title with Jimmy Cicero. Hot Stuff is known for throwing fireballs at his opponent. Trained by Ivan Koloff.
Man, you can't just give me and the name.
What?
Himself hot. He's calling himself hot stuff, and then he's throwing fireballs. So you're just ripping off Eddie Gilbert, piece of shit.
Brian Perry, you piece of shit. Let's call you the cat
Yeah.
burglar.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, at 235.
Oh,
As I
sorry.
say, ladies and gentlemen, at 235 pounds, gimmick infringement, Brian Perry.
Yeah, it was like that one guy we saw at the one of those conventions we went to that called himself Mr. Wonderful.
Yeah.
It's like you're not. Oh, go to hell. Not Mr. Wonderful. But anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
470. Oh man, there's a name coming up that I'm ready for you to pop for. But anyway, 473 bodyguard for hire. 6'3",
he was all over the Indies on the North.
265, 2 years pro. 2-year veteran has already held several singles titles, including the ECPW heavyweight title. Tough Brawler also won several street fighting belts in the UWA. Brooklyn, New York native puts away most challengers with choke slams. And Aaron's right. This guy, you saw bodyguard for hire all over those indie results.
The guy took like no days off.
And when he finally was somebody's bodyguard, isn't he just bodyguard?
Bodyguard got hired.
Employed bodyguard.
Employed bodyguard. I was about to say that. Bodyguard that is employed. Gainfully employed body man.
Gainfully employed.
And if you're so good, why are you always for hire? Like,
yeah. It's like, why are you
always available?
I'm looking for a man that'll match the 401k.
Yeah. Like, I don't know.
Number 472 is Jackie Fulton. 5'11", 225, 7 years pro. Younger brother of Bobby Fulton. He sometimes teams with his brother. Slightly taller, heavier, and stronger than Bobby, but not as seasoned. Competes mainly in Southern Independence.
I don't mind Jackie Fulton, honestly. I mean, I obviously I would totally 100% prefer or pick Fulton and Rogers over the Fulton brothers, but I think Jackie was decent.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I don't think he was ever gonna be a bigger guy than he was, but just as a small regional territory type guy, nothing wrong with him.
Yeah, and like you said, I agree with you. Like when him and his brother did the Fantastics, it wasn't obviously near as good as the original, but it was fine.
Yeah.
Number 471, Bart Sawyer, 6 foot 222, 5 years pro, competes in Pacific Northwest Independence. Named Bart because of his resemblance to Bart Simpson. Real first name is Steve. Has also wrestled in the USWA.
Yeah, I remember him.
They eat my shorts.
My shorts.
I don't know why I thought that was so funny, but
well, it's a funny thing to tell somebody. Like, it's just funny the things in America that they catch on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there was a period of between like 1989 and like 1992 where if somebody made you mad, you'd be like, "Eat my shorts."
Eat my shorts. Yeah, shit.
It makes no sense. Just like in the 70s, somebody would call you a jive turkey and you'd have to defend yourself. You know what I mean? Like, it'd be like time to throw hands when somebody would be like, "You jive turkey."
Don't you besmirch me, motherfucker.
Yeah. Where now, if I was in an argument with somebody and they said, "You know what? You jive turkey,"
I'd laugh my ass off.
I'd laugh my ass off and be like, "You win, dude. We're friends now." Yeah, like, eat my shorts or word to your mother.
Bite me.
Yeah,
Number 470, Jimmy Cicero. 6'1", 245, 4 years pro. Wise guy. Currently holds the SCW tag title with partner Brian Perry. Former CCWA tag team champion. Turned his back on the fans and former partner Stevie Storm. High flyer was trained by Ivan Koloff.
Yeah, I know what this guy's gimmick is. He's a mob guy or whatever.
Yeah. All right, up next.
Comes out the green onions.
Up next is the name I've been is the name I saw a little while ago. I happened to look up and I was like, ooh, I like this one. Number 469, King Kong Krusty.
What?
King Kong Krusty.
Is it Krusty with a K?
Nope.
Okay. At least you did that.
Let's
Oh,
see.
let's hear about his weight.
Current AK 6'2", 340 pounds.
Gross.
3 years pro. Current CWA champion, former AWC heavyweight title holder and tag champion with Tony Golden. Competes in Kentucky, Ohio, and Florida Independence. Formerly known as Krusty Stauball.
Krusty Stall. I mean, trying to think if there's any other Krusty wrestlers.
Yeah,
Like
that's
by
fine.
name, not like. I mean, like there was a point where Gypsy Joe was a Krusty wrestler. Sir, oh,
Something
go ahead.
funny.
Sorry.
Something funny. I wanted to see if I could find a picture of him, right? Which
Yeah.
there is no picture of him. But the funny thing is, all right, so I put King Kong Krusty into a Google search.
Came up
And
with Krusty the Clown.
No. They do underneath the second search is just that independent or internet wrestling database thing where it shows like the profile of the wrestler and their wins and losses or whatever. You know, with this guy,
Yeah.
they've only got like 2 matches listed or whatever. But no, the funny thing is what comes up first when you put in King Kong Krusty is Kang Kong King is a brand of crispy flavored chips that are popular in the Philippines. But anyway, King Kong Krusty.
King Kong Krusty.
Number 468, our man, Sal Balomo.
Hey, Uncle
5'10",
Sal.
he's 5'10", 240, 18 years pro. Veteran wrestler has slowed down a little bit, but still competes in Eastern Independence. Used to wrestle under the name Centurion Marcella. Has also competed in ECW where he used to toss stuffed animals to the crowd. Sal Balomo, number 468.
Yeah. You know what's amazing about Sal Palomo? It's like I always knew who he was. You know, I always knew he existed and everything like that. But us doing Reliving the Extreme made me a fan of Sal Palomo.
Yes, exactly. I'm the same way. That's why I always introduce him as our man, Sal Balomo.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, doing Reliving the Extreme and the goofiness of Sal in ECW made us fans of Sal Balomo.
Yes.
Number 467 is Lance Diamond. 6'2", 226, 6 years pro. This egotistical loudmouth is hailed as the best technical wrestler ever to compete in the ECWA. Glamour Boy is a 4-time former ECWA heavyweight champion and a 2-time former tag team champion. Battled Cheetah Master in several wild ladder and steel cage matches. Why do I think?
Huh?
Why do I? Did he ever wrestle? Oh, that's Simon Diamond, isn't it?
It's Simon Diamond. Yeah, I was like,
yeah.
I was
I
gonna
was
see
like,
how long it took you to get there for a minute.
like the name was floating in my dome, and I was like, wait, what? I don't. Yeah, wait, it's Simon Diamond.
Yeah.
Yes.
Simon Diamond, like he's around a lot longer than what you think. And I don't know. I was always a fan of the guy. I know some people whatever with him, but I always liked him. I thought he was a cool, like, well, you know me. I kind of like that. Arrogant kind of. You know what how do I say it? Like
the cocky heel that can back it up.
Yeah, but it also doesn't. He also doesn't lose anything if he gets his ass kicked.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like the Miz, like when the Miz is actually a bad guy. You know what I mean? I like that. I like that type of wrestling. I don't think you need a bunch of them.
Right.
Like I wouldn't want you to overuse it, but there needs to be a guy like that. And Lance Diamond, Simon Diamond, he always kind of fit that role for me.
All right. Number
Funny how
460.
big. Oh, sorry.
Number 466. The Bounty Hunter. 6'3", 310, 6 years pro. Co-holder of the All-Pro Tag Team title with partner Blackjack Bobby Colt. Powerful competitor, hails from Tombstone, Arizona. Doesn't fear
Of course
anyone.
he does. Yeah. Whatever. There's a billion of those guys. Tons of bounty hunters and bodyguards. And,
Number 465, TJ Powers, 6'1", 248, 10 years pro. The Superstar is a frequent competitor in Midwest Independence, former AWF heavyweight champion, two-time Pro Wrestling International Tag Champion, occasionally wrestles for WCW.
See, that's where I remember that name then.
Number 464, we all know what tune this guy will come out to. The Knight Rider, 6'1", 270, 8 years pro.
He probably came out to like the Miami Vice theme.
Self-proclaimed king of the Battle Royal. Native of Cincinnati, wrestles primarily in the SWF. Last wrestler to face the late Mohammed the Butcher, trained by Kenny Mack.
I don't even know who Mohammed the Butcher is, so.
Nor Kenny Mack. Number 463, Rob McBride, 6 foot 310, 10 years pro, currently involved in a brutal feud with Mean Mark Ash and ICW. Was formerly one half of tag team called the Inmates. Former WCF TV champion. Was known as the Libyan Assassin in the Carolina-based CCWA.
The Libyans. So maybe
showed up in that van.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the Libyans.
462 is Mike Legacy. 5'11", 218, 1 year pro. One of the Border City Wrestling's top rookies. Briefly held the BCW Can-Am tag title with partner Tommy Tana. High-risk aerial moves, easy for me to say, often miss their mark. Trained by Scott D'Amore and Mickey Doyle.
Middle name, got to know.
Mike got no legacy.
I mean, it was trained by Scott D'Amore, so I mean, if your trainer's anything, I mean, maybe he was good. I don't know, but
never heard of him though.
Me neither.
461, Bugsy Slug.
Gross.
6 foot 285, 4 years pro, a graduate of the Hart Family Wrestling School. Massive Man appears mainly in Central Canada Independence, one half of the nefarious Reservoir Dogs in RCW. Has proven to be a very devious wrestler. Recently unmasked when he lost a hair versus mask match to Vance Nevada.
Well, I guarantee that was that Hart Family training facility that was just name alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even think Bruce was involved at that point, was he?
No, you read Jericho's book. He's like, Keith Hart showed up, stretched everybody one day, took all their money, and they never saw him. They never saw another Hart again. It was just Bob Brown going through Stu Hart's training book. That's all it was.
It gave the world Bugsy Slug. That's what happens to me now when I eat Taco Bell. I get the Bugsy Slugs.
I got the Bugsy Slugs. That's the ones with the sharp pain.
Number 460, Cheetah Master. 6'1", 223, 5 years pro. Currently in his third reign as the ECWA champion, also a former ECWA tag team champion. Popular wrestler is known for splashing opponents from the top of steel cages. Had memorable feuds with Lance Diamond, Ivan Koloff, and Devon Storm. He's a guy that seemed like he could have made it. Like from everything I've ever heard, and all accounts that I've heard, he was pretty good.
Yeah.
But just never made it above where he was on the East Coast.
I mean, honestly, at this time, like we were talking about, there wasn't really. I mean, WCW they would try to get whoever they. How do I say it? It was a very status quo period for both companies.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? There weren't a lot of new guys coming in. WCW didn't even have they still had a lot of guys, but it wasn't just. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if what I'm saying makes sense, but it's like.
Yeah, they were
Very much a. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say they both had their rosters, and I mean WCW, like you said, would have they would bring a bunch of people in for like worldwide and stuff. But as far as the main characters and the main rosters go, there was a year and a half period there where they just stuck with what they had.
Yeah. We got these guys. We're not gonna upset the apple cart. It's not like we're making money hand over fist. So just fuck it. Let's keep the ones we got and keep them happy.
Yeah. 459 is War Dog. 5'11", 271, 6 years pro. Tattooed biker is a very bloodthirsty wrestler. Seems to get stronger the more he bleeds. Is one half of the Hellhounds with partner Mad Dog.
I feel like we talked about them before. I could be wrong.
We might have. It rings a bell. Number 458, The Shadow. 5'8", 219, 9 years pro. This could be anybody. There's so many shadows. Masked Man competes in Texas and his native Mexico. Though not as large as most competitors, he more than makes up for his lack of power with speed and skill. Top contender for the Texas All-Star Wrestling Light Heavyweight title. The Shadow is right up there with the Executioners, the Mr. X's.
Yeah. Dr. X.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Could be anybody. Could be some schlub. Could be Big John Studd. You know what I mean? Like, who fucking knows? 457, Iron Fist. 6 foot, 215, 2 years pro. The Perfect Weapon is tag team partner of Liberty in the New England Wrestling Alliance, is a black belt in several martial arts, returned after an 18-month sabbatical due to medical problems. We had herpes.
Yeah, it's like it wasn't even an injury. It was like problems. What's your medical problem, man?
Gonorrhea, man. Leave me alone.
Yeah, again. Gonorrhea.
456, Lucifer Kane. 6 foot, 285, 4 years pro, a member of the Posse in the SWA, co-holder of the SWA tag titles with Rock, R-O-C, like the TV show. Wrestles in Alabama and Tennessee.
Craig Pittman.
Bad Man from Hell's Kitchen, New York, is feuding with Jerry Fuller and the General. Devastating chokeslam.
That's what I always thought. When I saw Craig Pittman, I'm like, that guy looks like the dude that like they don't look exactly alike, but I'm like, he reminds me of Rock.
That's also a forgotten TV show nobody ever talks about ever.
Well, it's because it started out as a comedy, and then remember when it tried to get like talking about serious problems, like Rock had that feud with like the crack dealer in the neighborhood. You remember what I'm talking about? Like,
yes.
It's like, what is going on? It's like, what are you doing? It was like this stupid shit. That show was so stupid. Like it tried, like I said, it tried to just go from like, I don't know, like rocking the brotherhood of going up against the drug dealer in the neighborhood. It's like, oh, what is going on? This is stupid. It was one of those shows that tried to be too messagey.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you do one of these a year. You know what I mean? Like you got your special message episode once a year. Every 90s sitcom did it. You do one of those once a year. It was like a whole storyline. This big feud between Rock and the crack dealer. Jesus, like, keep the drugs out in the neighborhood, and the guy was like, "Listen to me, garbage man." Fuck, this is stupid. Anyway,
Number 455 is Deputy Dog. 6'1", 360 pounds.
Jesus.
5 years pro. The name Deputy Dog is made more funny by the fact that he's a big fat guy. I don't know why.
A big fat fuck. More like Droopy Dog.
Dumpy Dog.
He's Saggy Dog.
UWF heavyweight champion is undefeated.
Diabetes Dog. Here's Diabetes Dog. Why must I be like that? Why must I briskly chase the cat?
Hits him with his finishing move, the licorice whip. Fan favorite loves to punish opponents using a flying forearm smash or a shoulder breaker. Deputy Dog.
This guy's flying. Anyway.
Number 454, Jammin' Jimmy Lamb. 5'11", 24 years pro. Or no. Yeah, 24. Wait. Hold on. Okay, so that threw me off. He's eight years pro.
Okay, this kid's been going around for 24 years.
No, under his normal. Okay, so like the weight is always second, so it's like 6'1", 360, 5 years for Deputy Dog. What threw me off was the weight for Jammin' Jimmy Lamb is 24, so obviously it's a misprint. He's probably 240 something.
Yeah,
but,
okay.
Yeah, that threw me off because it's like
or he's 24 pounds.
Inspirational cancer patient wrestling in UWF junior heavyweight champion is stuck in an intense feud with rival Bobby Blade. A veteran of the Mid-South independent scene uses a crucifix as his finishing move. He says he'll lay out Blade with his Lamb Slam. God damn.
God damn, Lamb.
Number 453 is the Gargoyle. 6'1", 243. How long he's been wrestling is not available. Disgustingly rancid wrestler, wreaks havoc in Slammers Wrestling Federation. Favorite moves are chewing on opponents' feet, ears, armpits, and navels.
Oh, I remember seeing pictures of this guy because Slammers was in all the magazines.
Yeah, well, you're right now.
They were one of those companies that weren't in PWI. They were in like the
Wrestling Roundup.
Like it was, yeah, or Wrestling Eye. You know, it wasn't like the ones that were like, you know, in that Abner mag thing. It was the ones that were like offshoot magazines. But yeah, Slammers was in all of those.
Fans at ringside are given barf bags before his matches. Likes the feeling of earwax in his teeth. The Gargoyle.
Yeah, they did little crazy gimmicks like that. They weren't as crazy as like Incredibly Strange Wrestling, but they were kind of in that.
It's unique. Something different. I'm not going to say it would be my cup of tea, but at least it's something different, I guess.
Yeah.
452, Super Key number 2, 5'11", 195, 3 years pro, competes in Motor City Wrestling, began pro wrestling career in Japan, a few pounds heavier than Super Key 1, but just as agile. Super Keys are currently the number 1 contenders to the MCW tag belts.
I don't know what a Super Key is, but they're trying, I guess.
Number 451, Cuckoo the Samoan.
Who?
Cuckoo the Samoan. Kuku. Cuckoo the Samoan.
Cuckoo? Okay.
Cuckoo.
They said Dooku. They get the guy from Star Wars.
6 foot, 233, 1 year pro. Wildman has been Border City Wrestling's most successful rookie in 1995. Combines decent technical skills with savage brawling. Wastes too much energy in useless feuds when he should be pursuing titles.
I don't know anything about him. Since we don't, unless you know something about the guy.
Mm-mm.
Trying to add when we don't have anything to talk about these people, we can talk about other things. Have you ever seen, and you probably have because you like Star Wars more than I do, but have you ever seen the thing when Stewie's like upset about Lord Palpatine or whatever his name is?
Yes.
He's like, why does he have a desk? Like, what's he doing? Like, I guess I never like. He's got a point. It's like, why does this guy have a desk? Is he just doing paperwork and then Yoda shows up?
Number 450 is the Tower of Doom. 6'5", 435 years pro, current NWF heavyweight champion, wrestles mostly in Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana. Style resembles that of One Man Gang, surprisingly quick. I don't know Tower of Doom.
I don't either, but I guarantee that's surprisingly quick.
He's unsurprisingly underwhelming, probably.
I'm pretty sure he's probably a shitty 911.
That's saying something.
And that's saying something, yes.
All right. Rico Rodriguez is 449. 5'9", 225, 1 year pro. Street Punk is co-holder of the BCW tag titles with Calavera Cortez. Has an impressive aerial attack, but often relies too much on outside interference. The quiet half of Los Rudos, he tends to let Cortez do the bragging.
A lot of these Puerto Rican and Hispanic guys got some cool names going on. Like this guy's partner has a cool name.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's like, all right, they got to figure it out.
Number 448 is Bob the Butcher. 6'4", 375, 6 years pro, surprisingly agile for his size. Open hand chops are some of the hardest in wrestling. Teams with brother Billy to win several Texas tag team titles. Formerly a cattle farmer and meat cutter, Brawler actually uses some of his meat cutting tools while wrestling.
So Billy and Bob the Butchers.
I'm going to actually...
Billy Butcher.
I want to send you a picture of this guy so I can hear you react to it because it's like he's not even trying.
Billy Butcher's on The Boys. That's that guy's name.
All right, picture sent.
Did you send it to my phone?
Yes.
Okay, because my phone, I have to go grab it.
Oh, okay. Well, sorry about that. I didn't realize that I was sending the picture to Aaron's phone. He didn't have his phone on him. So.
Huh? If you were saying something, I didn't hear it.
Oh, I said I didn't. I was apologizing to the listeners. I didn't know you didn't have your phone near you. So.
Well, I try to not have my phone because then I don't get distracted if somebody's texting me because I try to be somewhat professional. And that guy is not trying. Says this butcher brings his tools to the ring. He doesn't even have any tools in the picture.
He's just wearing a sweatsuit and
put on a little makeup. He's not putting on a butcher's outfit.
A little crappy makeup job.
Yeah. Fuck him.
Number 447 is Super Key 1. 5'7", 191, 3 years pro. Half of the masked Asian duo currently contending for Motor City Wrestling Tag Team title. Singapore native is more experienced than his partner. 1992 MCW Rookie of the Year. Makes up for his lack of size with an impressive aerial arsenal. So like you said with Super Key 2, we don't know what a Super Key is, but there they are.
Yeah, I have no idea. They sound like if they ever went to WCW, they'd be like a Kevin Sullivan type gimmick. I don't know. Maybe since you said Singapore, it made me think of that. Yeah.
446 is Mike Justice, 6', 247 years pro, former CCWA heavyweight and TV champion, member of Count Grog's Brotherhood in SCW. I recognize Count Grog. Very flamboyant, feuding with Poison Ivy in SCW and several other Southern independents.
Good for him.
I
do. If this business was, if you get it, imagine if this business was real and your boss is Count Grog. I work for Count Grog. Anyway,
bodyguard for hire is like, is he hiring?
The Grog is always hiring, man.
Does he match 401k? I don't know why I think that's funny. This bodyguard's so interested in a matching 401k. Can't bodyguard forever, you know. I got to have a good retirement plan. Shit. The number 445 is Troy Mest, 5'11", 232, 5 years pro, quick and agile. Teamed with older brother Mark in Pennsylvania until they split a few months ago. Currently a contender for the PCW heavyweight and U.S. titles. I like Troy and Mark Mest because Troy's like not fat and Mark is. I don't know why, but for a brother team, that I don't know why that's funny to me, because usually, you know, brother teams kind of resemble each other or whatever. But like, yeah, Troy's like a pretty well built guy, and then Mark's a big fat guy. I don't know. I think it's funny. This is my big fat brother, Mark.
Sometimes real life is like that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you didn't know it, you'd never think that Dennis and Randy Quaid were brothers.
True.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Because other than their nose, they have no similar features whatsoever.
Let's see. Number 444, Johnny B. Good. It's 6', 225, 8 years pro, part of the Rock and Roll Connection with partner Scotty Piper. Popular with the female fans.
Scotty Piper. God damn it.
Loves to compete in strange specialty matches. Scotty Piper's like, I'll tell you what, I got my partner here, Johnny B. Good.
You know the song Johnny B. Good, right?
Yes.
Obviously. I recently listened to that song, and I don't know why, but I thought about it more. And it's like, he was like autistic. Like they took advantage of an autistic kid. Like they're like, he never learned to read or write no well, but he could play guitar just like a ringing a bell. Like he took like one thing that, like, because autistic people do that, you know what I mean? They find like one or two things that they center on and they take care of it. I don't know if I'm thinking too much of the Johnny B. Good song.
Well, I was at work the other day, and that "Get Out of My Dreams, Get Into My Car" song came on. I was like, well, the lyrics of this song are actually kind of fucked up.
Oh yeah.
Like this guy is trying to kidnap this poor woman.
Yeah. Just like I got into a thing with somebody at work, even though I like the guy and I like his music. I was like, that "I'm on Fire" song by Bruce Springsteen.
Oh yeah, that song is fucking creepy.
He opens up hot, man, like right from the jump. It's like, whoa, you didn't even ease into it.
Yeah, hey little girl, is your daddy gone? Jesus.
Hey little girl, is your daddy home? And he's like, by the end, he's like, I got a bad desire. I'd be like, whoa.
Has anybody ever looked into this?
Yeah, you need to settle down, boss. Pump your brakes.
Bruce Feinstein over here.
At least Elvis hit it.
443 is David Lynch, 5'11", 275. Charlotte, North Carolina native, is one half of the Lynch Mob. Whoa. In OMW, Madman always brings his chain to the ring with him. This is 95.
I don't like this.
Jesus. Yeah. I was just going to say 95. By then, we should be past that, but apparently not in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Said David Lynch?
Yes, not the TV guy.
I was going to say, like, the fucking Eraserhead, and I like that guy. He's funny. Yeah, you can't be David Lynch. And then your whole gimmick's horrible. I don't like anything about this guy.
442, another Michaels, Brett Michaels, 5'10", 225, 4 years pro, former NWF light heavyweight champion and tag team champion, claims he is Shawn Michaels' better-looking younger brother.
Yeah, see, I told you.
No one believes him. Not to be taken lightly, very crafty and sneaky, competes in various Ohio independents.
Yeah, they're like, you're black. I know he's not, but that would be funny. Some black guy, like, I'm Shawn Michaels'
Shawn Michaels' brother. Number 441. Jason the 13th.
6'4", 13th.
6'4", 248, 3 years pro. This hockey mask-clad maniac says he comes up from the depths of Camp Crystal Lake, virtually impervious to pain, executes aerial maneuvers like a light heavyweight. Once managed by Gary Hart, probably needs a keeper more than a manager.
I don't like that. It's like when you just totally rip off it or whatever. Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah, it's almost as blatant as just the Freddy Krueger wrestler. Just it's Freddy Krueger.
Speaking of David Lynch, did you ever watch What Did Jack Do? Did you ever see that?
No.
I don't know if you like David Lynch or not, but it's only like 20 minutes. If you're ever bored, if it's still on Netflix, it's funny.
What did Jack do?
Yeah, what did Jack do?
Okay.
He's interrogating a spider monkey.
Sounds about right. 440 is Rick Guerin, 5'10", 227, 5 years pro. Texas native, has competed all over the Southwest, including the GWA and NWA. Skilled high flyer, is popular with the fans. Former TASW light heavyweight champion.
I don't know anything about that guy.
Never heard of him.
That made me laugh. Sorry. I was like, yeah, he's interrogating a spider monkey, and you were like, sounds about right. I was like, oh, Nate doesn't like David Lynch. Okay. Keep on moving on then.
And number 439 is Roger Sartain, 5'11", 212, 9 years pro. One half of Bad Medicine with Gigolo Joel Travis. The Ravishing One claims to be Louisiana's baddest man. Has been accused of using a loaded armband. TriStar fans delight in barking sardine at him. So he's stupid, and so are his fans.
Sardine doesn't. I don't know. That doesn't even. Not even a good chant.
You know, one of their shitty baby faces came up with it. He's like, he's not Roger Sartain. He's Roger Sardine.
Sardine. It's like, oh, shut up.
And the 15 fans in attendance.
Yeah.
Here we go. 438. He's pretty young at this point. This is one of my favorite guys that never got the fair shake. In my opinion, I know he got some stardom, but never got the fair shake he deserved. 438, Doug Basham, 6', 210, 2 years pro, youngster still competes occasionally in the USWA, lacks size but has plenty of potential. Attended the Danny Davis Wrestling School. Has also wrestled in several other Southern independents. I love Doug Basham. I think Doug Basham's the shit. I watch OVW. Everybody knows religiously. I watch WWE and OVW. That's what I watch pretty much. And he's doing a cool heel thing in OVW right now. I mean, it's your standard like fight for the company thing that I guess in wrestling now it's been done so long it's passe. But him and Al Snow are doing a good job with it in OVW. He's got his little heel faction. They got all the belts, that kind of a thing. But Doug's
like,
great,
working,
man.
or is he just managing?
No, he's worked some. Is
he still in really good shape?
Oh, he's one of those guys that looks better now than he did then, like Al.
like Billy and Al.
Yeah.
All right.
But no, I'm a big Doug Basham fan, and I don't think he ever got his fair shake.
I don't either. And have you ever heard Bruce Prichard talk about how if Vince didn't want you to talk about something, if you brought it up too much, it would have adverse effects?
Yes.
Or he would just get tired of hearing about it, so then he wanted nothing to do with it. I think that might have been a bad thing for Doug.
Maybe JR and them were pushing for him too much.
Like Cornette was probably pushing for him too much.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like you're bringing up this guy. Well, what about Doug Basham? What about? And Vince might have finally been like, "Fuck that guy! I don't want to hear him." You know what I mean? So
yeah,
that might have been what happened. Plus, there's a few guys that came into that company at that time that I think kind of got hosed a little bit off of, because that was a transitional period too.
Yeah, the whole ruthless aggression thing, and
between JR and the JR regime and the Laurinaitis regime, it's kind of like not as blatant, but it was, or how do I say it? It's like 93 in my opinion, or it's like you still got hold-ons from the last reign regime, and then these guys are coming in, and they were just guys kind of got lost in the shuffle in it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. 437, Jimmy Lee, 6', 210, 6 years pro, most popular star in Ohio's ASWA promotion. Always working on new aerial and martial arts moves. Also a professional artist. Well, I hope his art career worked out for him, because apparently his wrestling career didn't.
Yeah.
436, Woody Lee, 6'1", 265, 16 years pro. Cowboy was reunited with younger brother Bobby after his brother returned from a knee injury, suffered a neck injury during an attack by the Gypsies Army. Once had his hair cut by Brutus Beefcake in the WWF. There's your claim to fame, Woody Lee.
What was his partner's name?
His brother Bobby Lee.
Bobby Lee.
Mm-hmm.
From the Bobby Lee?
Bobby Lee.
Yeah, that's Andrew Santino's buddy. He was on Mad TV, and great little comedian, Bobby Lee. They should have called him Bobby Lightyear, because it would have been like Buddy, and because he's like Cowboy Woody.
Woody.
Yeah. They come out to like, "You got a friend in me." I'm trying to get something out of this.
Number 435 is Black Cat. 6'3", 270, 7 years pro, co-holder of the Steel City Tag Team titles with Lou Marconi. Formerly competed in several independent organizations in the North and South Carolina before moving to Pennsylvania. Full of charisma and determination, he can be tough to beat.
Good for him. I like when like a gimmick like that, and then like it's the Black Cat and Lou Marconi.
Yeah.
Like, what are you guys doing together?
Be like the Master of Devastation and Bill Jones.
Yeah.
What?
What's happening?
Well, I didn't. I always have the news on in my the news channels on in my office while I'm in here, and I got the on mute. And apparently, Chris Christopherson died.
Oh, that sucks.
Chris Christopherson dead at 88. I didn't know he. I mean, I knew he was old, but I didn't know he was in his 80s. To be honest with you. Anyway.
He's been around forever.
Yeah, well, yeah. Like I said, I knew that, but I don't know why I thought he was one of them guys that was probably in his 70s. But it doesn't matter. He's dead now.
Sunday morning coming down. He wrote that.
Very talented motherfucker, actually.
Yeah. But I'd say that would be like if you would hang your hat on something, you could say you wrote the song Sunday Morning Coming Down.
Yeah.
And then Johnny Cash fucking killed it. Not like killed it like bad, like
killed it good.
Rocked that shit, yeah.
So rest in peace, Chris Christopherson.
This kid was a wrestler.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a wrestling connection there.
There you go.
434, Brian Rollins. 6'1", 351 years pro. This up-and-comer wrestles in several Midwest independents. Trained by Al Snow. Pinned Kodiak in 15 minutes in his pro debut last June. Now teams frequently with Kodiak. His nickname is the Ice Cream Boy. I don't like that.
Ew. Ew.
All right.
Oh.
Moving on from that. We'll do 3 more. We'll do 3 more here. We'll finish this page.
Rumor has it he sleeps in Terry Garvin's basement.
Look to see him featured on the latest Vince McMahon documentary. Number 433.
She'd be like, "Call me the Ice Cream Boy." No.
That's I call that half the fault of the promoter. The promoter should have put his foot down on that one.
I think that would be the funniest reply. Call me the Ice Cream Boy. No. Go ahead, sorry.
Number 433 is Baron von Raschke. 6'3", 271, 29 years pro. German master is still a threat. Few people have better claw holds. People forget he was an accomplished amateur star. Famed for long feud with Vern Gagne. Continues to compete in PWA and other Minnesota independents.
Just a guy I never cared about.
Raschke is one of those guys that I respect. Baron von Raschke. I respect what he accomplished in the business. From everything I've ever heard, nice, great human being, really nice guy. But like you, I just never could get into him.
He might be just, how do I say? He might be just one. I don't want to say generation, but just might be one click over. Like I don't see it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, I respect him, and he was around forever, and he accomplished a lot. So I'll never take that away from him. He did something that I enjoy. He did a profession that I enjoy watching that I was never even capable of ever doing. So I'll give him that.
Yeah.
And I'll never diminish the guy's career. I just don't see it. And this might be blasphemy to say it, but I feel the same way about Killer Kowalski. Like I watch him work and I just say, I don't see it, but whatever.
Right. I mean, Kowalski's got a legacy because I mean, the guy he trained is running the WWE now.
Oh yeah, then like I
running
said,
the wrestling world.
I'm not saying anything against that. I just that
Oh yeah.
just
Oh no.
that style doesn't do anything for me.
Totally agree. 432 is Alex Knight, 5'11", 215, 30 years pro. Current AIWA champion, has wrestled all-stars such as Harley Race, Ron Bass, and Shawn Michaels. Crafty veteran, wrestled ICW heavyweight champ Mean Mark Ash to a time limit draw in 1994. Must be one of those guys that was just a local guy that was around forever, because I've never heard of him, but he's wrestled a lot of people, and he's been wrestling for 30 years.
Yeah, he feels like to me also one of those guys like Raven talked about. Like he said he never asked a guy how many years they wrestled. He would ask him how many matches they had.
Mm-hmm.
Before he'd work with them, be like, how many matches have you had? Well, I've been in the business for 5 years. How many matches have you had? Because you could have been in the business for 5 years, but you've only had 22 matches. I need to know what I'm dealing with here.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. The last name we'll do for this week is another racist gimmick in 95.
All right.
It's amazing that these are still around. I mean, still around anyway. 431. The name is Spooky Cool Kid Clean.
Spooky Cool Kid Clean.
Yes, and the cool, the kid, and the clean all start with a K. You see where this is going.
Oh, he's the spooky KKK?
Yes, he is.
Gross.
6'4", 246, former ACW tag champion. Still wears white hood and sheets to the ring, but has dumped his manager, the Priest. Strangely enough, he's been cheered in AWC and other Florida independents.
It's not strangely enough.
No, not really.
Why? I've never understood that. There's like two or three things in wrestling that it's like, nah, we don't need that in here.
Yeah.
And every company's
oh,
like,
absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Every single company in the history of wrestling has gone down that route.
And it's like that's the cheapest of heat that you can get. And I don't like it.
Well, that is going to wrap it up for this as we have started our journey through the 1995 PWI 500. Next week, we will start with number 430. And I want to thank everybody for joining us. I don't really have anything to say to end the show other than thank you for listening. Thank you for your support. We appreciate it. You can, as I've said a few times in the past now, just to let you know, to remind you, if you like to listen to your podcasts on YouTube, the show actually goes up on YouTube now at the same time that it goes up on all the podcast apps as well. So if you prefer YouTube, feel free. I've noted that we have had we don't have a lot of subscribers on YouTube, but some of you must be listening to either this or Reliving the Extreme on YouTube, because we have had an uptick since I got to do the improvement there. So appreciate your support. We appreciate you listening. Before we sign off,
You cut off a little bit there. I'm assuming he asked if I had anything to say.
yes.
Not really. Like you kind of went over it, and just like, review, share, tell your friends, and help the show out. If
Absolutely.
you like it, you gotta tell people about it.
And like I said, next week we'll start with number 430 in the 1995 PWI 500. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for listening. And we'll see you next week, everybody.